damn Breeny, how many guys have you dated? Like, I went through depression. Come on, God, like, do you really hate me that much? What's going on? Why am I still single? Don't give that explanation to single people. It doesn't help. I was so angry. I'd cry my eyes out. I'm not broken. My biological clock is not ticking. I just wanted a man. I just wanted a man to give me forehead kisses. This single life ain't easy.
But you can't fix what you can't see. It's the soul that needs a surgery.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel and happy Valentine's Day. So today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about loneliness and being alone, and I kind of want to take you through my single journey so far, but I feel like this is the last video I'm going to make on my status because I already have two already. I also feel like God's gonna change my status real quick. Type amen if you agree. So I am alone, but I'm not lonely because I am full. But that hasn't always been the case. So I've been single for 11 years and I am currently 26. So you guys do the maths. I have dated, but I just feel like I haven't met the one that feels right, you know? So growing up, I didn't get much attention, never had a boyfriend, never kissed anyone till I was like 13. And obviously in school, that is quite late. You know, girls and boys have been going out since they were like 7 years old. That was not me at all. I never had a boyfriend in school until I lost my virginity when I was, which I have talked about in my celibacy video. You can click here to watch. So after that, I started dating really badly. I loved bad guys. I loved guys that had a name, and most of them were just emotionally unavailable. And yes, I did have major daddy issues until I gave my life to Christ in 2007. I was really just tired of going round in circles and just getting messed around by the same guys. And I do say I gave my life, but honestly, Jesus pursued my heart. He chased me down, he found me, and he's taken me on this journey of wholeness. And I must say, it has not been an easy ride at all. So I was introduced to Heather Lindsay very early on in my journey. She really introduced me to like intentional dating, not dating randoms, and just being content in your singleness. So a lot of my standards and my convictions come from obviously God and the Bible, but a lot of them come from just like listening to Heather Lindsay. If you guys don't know who Heather Lindsay is, I'll put her picture here and I'll put a link below. Honestly, there's been times when I've been in like wrong relationships or situationships, and I'll go on Instagram and she's written a post that just basically convicts my heart, and I'm just like, damn, like I hate it, but I love it at the same time because I know God is always trying to protect me and he uses other people to speak to me. So I'm really grateful for Heather Lindsay's voice in the world, because I don't know if I would have got as far if it wasn't for Heather Lindsay. I'm just gonna be real. So I know a lot of you guys hear me tell stories about this ex and this guy that I was dating and this guy and this guy, and I know some of you are probably thinking like, damn Breeny, how many guys have you dated? And honestly, I like to extract as much experience from these situations as possible. It's only been like 4 or 5, like if I can be real, it's only been like 4 or 5 different guys in the whole 10-11 years that I've been dating. It seems like every other year the devil sends me. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. I feel like somehow I just start talking to guys and before you know it, I've already caught feelings, because I catch feelings so fast. Like, God is just probably looking at me like, another one. Like, seriously? No, but seriously, I just feel like if God doesn't say go, then it's a no. Like, that's just how I do relationships, okay? If God doesn't say go, it's a no. Like, tweet that. But throughout the years, there's definitely been times when I've just been like super single. Like, nobody's checking for Breeny. Like, nobody's making my hotline bling. It's just dead. And then the next thing you know, Mr. Right Now is knocking on my door and I'm just like, I'm weak. Okay. So it'll be like fully single for a year, and then I'm talking to someone, then God says no, then I break it up, and I'm single for a year, and then talking to someone, and then God says no, then I break it up, and the cycle goes on again. I'm really making light of the situation, but that's legit how it happens. God's just like, no. So majority of the relationship that I've been in, it's just like I didn't have peace about them. And you know you're in a wrong relationships when you can't even pray about it. You don't want to pray about it because you don't want God to say no. God's gonna say, nah, not that one. No, he's not the one. Sorry, next. But I like to believe that God has big plans for us and big plans for me, and he'll never tell me to let go of something without a reason. He may not tell me the reason, but there is a reason, you know. But obviously it's difficult when you've like caught feelings and stuff and you have to tell them, my daddy don't like you and he likes everyone. Like, you know, when you have to just like break it to them. But it'd be like that sometimes, you know. But let me just be honest, a part of me did really just enjoy casually dating for no reason, talking to someone. It made me feel happy when I was talking to someone, going out on dates, just doing cute shit. The thought of having a bae, to me, it was just like happiness. It was just bliss. Even though at the back of my mind, I was like, I know this is not going to work. But I thought, whilst I'm waiting for the one, I might as well have some fun. Hey, that rhymes. Since I'm single, I might as well have some fun. And I mean, good fun. I mean, I wasn't out here sleeping with guys, you know, but I was just like, let me just go on dates. Like, let me just get a little feel, you know, let me just do me, you know. I'm not doing that anymore because it's so stressful. It's so much work. And that's why I don't really date anymore. Like, I don't date. Like, I don't go on random dates. I don't do it anymore. No, if God says no, I will obey straight away. Other times I'm just like tiptoeing, I'm just taking my time and everything, and then I'm just like, no, God, let me have this one. Having said all of that, 2015 to 2017 was like my hardest years ever. Like, I went through depression before I turned 25 in 2016, and I was struggling with like deep loneliness. And I would say that it's because I didn't have a man, but I think it was a lot deeper than that. I really feel like the first 6 years of like being single was a lot more easier because I felt like I had a really good group of friends around me, and there was always something to do, to be hanging out. Like, it was fun, man. It was fun being single back then. My friends really held me down. But in 2016, 2017, a lot of my friendships started to crumble. And through that rejection, I just started to like isolate myself. I became really cold and really hard, and I kept myself to myself. I just became really guarded. On top of that, it felt like everyone in my family were dying. Like, literally in a space of like 2 to 3 years, I lost like 2 aunties, 2 uncles, and my granddad passed away. And my family are super close, and as long as I've been born, I hadn't been to a funeral. I hadn't been to a family funeral. Like, no one in my family had died. So you can imagine that pressure on me, like as a 24, 25-year-old. I was just like finding it really hard to cope. And because of my personality, I internalized pain. So I just kept everything inside. I kept everything buried. And I probably like cried only once or twice out of all of those years that my family members were passing away. Like, I became so numb. I became so numb and so cold. And like, my family were on the edge. My mum was suffering from anxiety. I had to really like help her and console her like at least once a week. I had just graduated university. I was trying to build my online platform, trying to find my feet in this new big wide world. I was just simply overwhelmed. And at the time, I started seeing a counselor who I'm still seeing to this day. She has been amazing. She's been a big help. Like, I really started to rebuild my life. I felt like my life had purpose, and I felt, yes, I can actually do this. But last year, loneliness creeped back up on me, and I felt this time it was justified. Like, both my sisters were in relationships. One was actually engaged. Even my brother was in a relationship, my friends, even my 15-year-old niece has a boyfriend. And like, I'm just here trying to be successful, flourishing, making videos, doing my whole soul surgery thing. But I felt so alone. And like, before, those kind of things wouldn't even like bother me. It wouldn't even faze me. But I felt like everything was just casting a shadow on how lonely I was. Like, everything just kept reminding me of how lonely physically and inside I was. And I really started to feel really embarrassed. Like, that is like no joke. I actually started to feel really embarrassed. And I was just like, come on God, like, do you really hate me that much that you would keep me single for this long? And on top of that, make me feel this anguish in my soul. Like, I'd heard people being upset about being single before. I wasn't just single, I was alone. There's actually a difference between being single and alone. I was feeling so lonely. I was at my lowest point, and I started to look around at people who were like in intentional godly relationships, and I started to think, like, I mean, they haven't been single as long as I have, and I know for sure they haven't done the work on themselves. So what's going on? Why am I still single? It's like you'll hear sermons and preachers say, oh, God has you single because he's working on you. And that was great for the first 6 years. But then I'm just like, come on, God, am I that broken that you're taking so long to mend me and fix me? Don't give that explanation to single people. It doesn't help. It does not help. And of course it has elements of truth to it. Of course, in those years I've been single, I've had time to work on myself, and I won't take that back for anything. But that's not the reason somebody is single, because there's people out here who've never really been single at all, and they're married and they're in relationships. What work have they done on themselves? So it's not fair to say you're single because A, you're not ready, or 2, God is working on you. How, Sway? How? What else I gotta do? Like, what else? He's working on me, yeah, okay, but how long are you gonna be working on me, God? And I know that may sound really arrogant, but it's reality. That's how I was feeling. That's how I felt at the time. I'd really talk to God and just give it to God and just be like, God, are you serious? Like, are you serious? Am I that messed up? Like, how much more work do you want to do on me? And I'll start going into my pity party, talking about how I've always felt lonely since I was a child. I'll start going back into childhood stuff. I'd cry my eyes out until I had a headache. And I'd hear God whisper, am I not enough? And I would whisper back, no. I need a real man. I need a physical man. I need a man with real arms to give me like real hugs, not spiritual hugs, real physical hugs. One of my love language is physical touch. I wanted a man to help me support my dreams. Is that too much to ask? God, like, I really do love you. I really do. But I need to be held with real arms. I need to be heard with real ears. I need to be touched with real hands. They keep telling me, God, that you are enough for me, but why do I still feel so empty? These are some of the questions I had for God, and I had to keep it real. And obviously saying these things to you, you may be like, you can't talk to God like that. Yes, I can. That's my relationship with him. You gotta be real, man. This single life ain't easy. I even remember telling God, like, if I'm not in a relationship in a year, then I'm gonna wild out. I was vexed. I was so angry. And lo and behold, I entered into a situation with someone that was seriously toxic, because ultimately we was only supposed to be friends. We should have never crossed the line. But to be honest, I was lonely, he was lonely. I was using him to fill my voids, and he was using me to fill his void. And it was just a recipe for disaster. But I seriously thank God for that moment in time, because it really has brought me to this place where I am right now. Like, it really caused a shift in consciousness. Like, I am so full. I lack nothing. I am not a half waiting for my other half to appear. I am already whole, and I am enough. But back then, I really believed that I needed a man to make me happy. I was not happy. I really felt that the reason for my unhappiness was because I didn't have a man. I felt like I'd be completed once I was found. It's actually a big lie. A man can only add to your happiness. He can't make you happy. That is an inside job. Take it from someone who actually deeply believed that she needed a man. Can you imagine a whole me? It's not true. It is not true. Honestly, self-love is your greatest asset. I don't expect a man to replace the love that I have for myself. I'm setting myself up for failure, and I'm really setting myself up for codependency. Like, if someone loves me, I'm going to be great. If someone doesn't love me, I'm also going to be great, because I already love myself. I am full. A man's love should complement you, not make you. And honestly, us females get it wrong all of the time. A lot of guys do too. Don't get it twisted. That's why unhealthy relationships are on an all-time rise. Like, one person is dependent on the other person for life. And I always equate it to like when you go deep sea diving and each person has an oxygen tank, and that's needed in order to survive, to breathe. But I liken some toxic relationships to two people go deep sea diving and only one has an oxygen tank. And what happens then is that the other person is relying on the other person's tank for oxygen, while the other person suffers. How much more fun would relationships be if both people came into the relationship with their own tank and they wasn't relying on the other person to give them life because they had their own? This is the way that I see self-love. If you give yourself the love that you want, if you give yourself the attention you so desperately desire from other people, you will be full. Repeat after me. I am responsible for my own happiness. I am responsible for my own happiness. How good did that feel? That alone literally brings about so much contentment in my life. I'm absolutely not where I want to be in life, but I am focused. I am focused on becoming better, not to get a man, but to get me, to love me, to cherish me, to honor me, to respect me. I'm also in a good place spiritually. Like, I know how to love myself because I know how much God loves me. And he teaches me to love myself by showing me how he sees me. I'm not broken. I am not unlovable. I am not hard to love. My biological clock is not ticking. My biological clock is perfect. There are still good men out here. All men do not cheat. I will have a successful marriage. Being single is not a curse. A husband is not a reward. And I am the prize. Like, we really have to break down these mental barriers if we truly want to be whole. Like, we really need to break down these mental barriers and these lies that we tell ourselves. I always see it like this. Love God, love yourself, and love others. That is the 10 commandments in a nutshell. Love for God, love for self, and love for others. And until you become comfortable being alone, you'll never know if you're choosing someone out of love or pure loneliness. When we choose people from a place of scarcity, we create more scarcity. But when we choose people from a place of wholeness, we create more wholeness. And trust me when I say this, someone that has learnt the lesson, the relationship that you have with yourself is the most important relationship on this earth. From there, you are able to love somebody else. It all starts right here with you. But some of you don't believe that. And seriously, the reason why some of you don't believe that is because we don't love ourselves. And we don't love ourselves because we don't like ourselves. And we don't like ourselves because we judge ourselves. And we judge ourselves because we don't know ourselves. I promise you, if you get to know you, you'll realize that you're not as bad as you think you are. You're not as bad as you tell yourself. Of course, you're not perfect. Of course, you make mistakes. I thought I was probably the most screwed up person there is. I thought I'd never be free. But I sit here as a testament that with God, all things are possible. I have never been so happy, so content with my lot. Nothing has changed physically. I'm still single, but something has shifted in my consciousness, in my mind. Like, I've become new because I've realized that I can't rely on anybody to give me what I need to give myself. I can't expect love from someone else and negate to give myself that love that I'm seeking in other people. You are love. There's enough love in you to give to yourself and also to give to somebody else. But the foundation of every relationship should be self-love. And when you reach that, you can be free from yourself. But you can also be free to be yourself. See, once you like yourself, you want to be around that person. I am not seeking outside validation. Sure, a man would be nice, but I hope when that man comes that he will bring his whole self. See, the thing is, I'm looking for an asset, not a liability. Like, I am good. I've got to a place where I'm actually good by myself. I need someone that's going to be good by themselves, but also want to compliment me and that I compliment them too. See, I am no longer lonely. I am alone, but I'm not lonely because I am full. I'm full of love. I'm full of God. I'm full of peace. I'm full of life. I'm full of optimism. And yes, no shame. I'm full of myself.